Okay. So I'll give you a great example. One day I was at the park. Me and my kids, we go to the park, we walk our dog. We're like a real family, 3 kids, wife, and a dog, right? Like the epitome of a family. And one day we're at the park. I didn't bring my dog this time, right? Because we wanted to go out to eat after. So we're outside and I see this kid and his dad at the park, like from afar. And I kept seeing the son like look up a certain way, like, and I noticed, I said, oh man, he's trying to get him to notice him. He was figuring out different facial expressions like, Dad, look at me, and just to notice him, because the entire time we were at the park, he was in his phone. To the extent I said, oh no, I'm gonna say something. So I go to my car, and when I got back, he was already making his way to his car, and I couldn't walk across the street abruptly and then be leaning over someone's car. That's not how you speak to someone, right? In that moment. But even when they were on the seesaw, his son was on the other side, not saying much, and the whole time his dad was scrolling in his phone. The whole time as they were like, quote unquote, playing together. And it didn't seem as though he had siblings, the child. So there wasn't a space for the father to then step back and say, you know what, I'm gonna let them play. The child is then looking for that relationship where, hey, make me happy. Hey, let's play together. Let's do these things together, because right now, not only are you my father, I'm looking for a friend. I'm looking for someone to have a relationship with. And not enough, you don't see that enough. And some people will say things that are so damaging, where they'll say, oh, you're not my friend, you're my child. And that's so detrimental to your relationship, to how it's going to be governed when they become adults. You're going to look for that relationship and it's not going to be there, because you created this space where you're the sergeant and you are now leading them and they can't tell you anything. Like that's not a way, the best way to raise a child or anyone, or to have any relationship with anyone that way. And I've found so many ways to communicate with my child, even when it's hard, right? I'll make sure I say, hey, daddy is stressed in this moment. I really need to take a step back. I don't want to do anything or say anything that'll make you feel uncomfortable. So, hey, allow me to take a moment, to take a breather. Let me go outside real quick. I'll come right back in and I'll catch my breath, because I don't want them to feel like, oh, daddy just spazzed out on me and he didn't tell me that he was going through something, so it's all my fault. Because children carry guilt. And again, as an effective communicator and a present father, I want the best for my child. And if that means I'm alleviating therapy sessions when they get older, that's what I'm going to have to do. So I have to take that extra step, that little bit more of time that you may consider as time, right? When at the end of the week, I can also add up your social media time, and it may not even be the same amount of time that you have given your child intentionally. Just because you're around them doesn't mean you're intentional about your relationship with them. I've seen plenty of people be around their children and not have a relationship. So just make sure that as we continue to talk about education, talking about technology and where that's going, know that you can have a great relationship with your child if you decide to put down that phone, right? So technology is a good thing and it can be a bad thing. Again, like I'm all for coursework. Again, I run a company that's focused in that. But when we think about technology, I want to make sure I'm pulling it right, like you said. Okay, when we think about technology, we have to think about a way to learn from it to then implement it, right? So we'll see all these reels that are great for kids, for adults, like, oh my gosh, I can make this cake, or I can make this salmon, this jerk salmon would be amazing. But sometimes it's almost a way to get you excited about something that you'll never do, right? So something that we'll do in my house is painting. We'll look up certain reels or something, but I use that, and I have the opportunity to do it with my kids. So I'll implement it. So getting from the technology as it being sensational or social media, something that you're excited about, and where it goes from excitement to implementation. So I think sometimes with technology, our excitement gets the best of us and we never get to doing the work with whoever or ourselves. I like to build. So I'll look into different woodworking things, and I'll be in the house where I'll then sand down some furniture, and I'll paint it. I'll spray paint the legs, or I'll spray paint all of the drawers and sets, just so I can have something that I would do from using technology to learn from. Not in the sense of using it for it to be sensational or for it to be exciting and I not implement anything. That doesn't change anything. And when it comes to courses, we're in a space where people want to learn from the expert. We are over spending $100,000 at a college. And I'm all about education. I'm all about colleges, universities, institutions, HBCUs, you name it. I'm all for that. But we're also in a space where we want to learn from the expert and make money doing it. So what often has been happening as to why I also created this company is because people will spend, let's say, $30,000 a year, right? You come out with $120,000. You still have not worked anywhere. You still haven't, right? And that's just a base thing. But let's just call it, $100,000 flat, right? You came out with $100,000 that you got to pay back. You still need to find a job. You still need a resume. You still need an intern. And you're going to put on your resume that you were a student, that you worked at the local coffee shop. And that is not aligned with what you truly want to do in heating and air conditioning, right? Thankfully, there's different tech schools that will help you in that, and which is usually less expensive. But if I come out with a course about how to really understand heating and air conditioning, right? I could then go pick up a certification. Let's say my course is $1,000. And then you want to go get your certification in heating and air conditioning, which would run you $2,500 to, let's say, even $5,000. I just saved $97,000, or I'm sorry, $93,000. And I didn't have to do it in 4 years. So that is the great thing about education, because with e-learning, is because you now have the opportunity to learn from the expert. Without, all of these different platforms, we wouldn't be able to offer these type of services. That's why it's essential to understand, Udemy, school.com, Thinkific, all of these different platforms that allow you to sell courses in an efficient way, so that way you can reach your community. And I think courses is an amazing way to reach your communities and be able to learn from the comfort of your home, because you may not have that opportunity to go to a classroom at 12 a.m., 1 o'clock in the morning, that after you put all your kids to sleep. You may not have that opportunity. But if you do that from the comfort of your home, in a laptop, right there in your office or in your living room, while you're in your pajamas, there's a whole lot that you could be learning. So please understand, technology is a great source to get you to the next level financially and for your family, but you have to get to a place of implementation. What do you think?